Good morning.
What do you get when you cross economics and music in the U.S.?
In this lesson, you'll learn about adjectives that end in IC or ICAL and leading a meeting.
This conversation takes place in the morning at a meeting.
And it's between the chairman and Sarah.
The meeting is formal and Sarah is the chairman's aide, so she speaks professionally. Let's listen to the conversation. We need to finish organizing the March seminar. How are we doing? Sarah?
To begin with, this past week, Jonathan and I were able to confirm with Daniel Giesbrecht, and he said he'd love to participate in the seminar.
Excellent. What else?
We've reserved fantastic hotel rooms for the delegates and reserved the restaurants for the 3 days of the seminar.
And the other delegates?
Going along smoothly. Mr. Jeffery Nye seems particularly energetic and seemed interested in incorporating some kind of musical component into his presentation.
Something lyrical, I hope?
I don't know, sir. I couldn't get it out of him.
No worries. He's known for mixing economic and musical examples in very creative ways. How's the schedule shaping up?
We've got the chronological structure planned out, but we need to determine the speakers, specifically who will deliver the keynote.
Could you get that taken care of soon, please?
That's part of the problem, sir. We have the outline, but I need more input from you and the committee in order to really nail this down. Could we set up an extra meeting on Thursday at 10?
Okay, so we wanted to talk a bit about leading a meeting.
A meeting is defined as an act or process of distinct parties assembling for a common purpose. Usually a meeting is a gathering of 2 or more people that has been convened for the purpose of achieving some kind of common goal.
Usually that meeting will have been called or organized by one of the participating individuals. Usually the individual that called the meeting also leads the meeting.
Being a meeting leader is one of the most important positions within the meeting. The meeting leader controls the turn-based system that predominates in most Western meetings.
In other words, it's the meeting leader that decides who speaks and when.
In the dialogue, the chairman is aware of all the tasks that Sarah has been assigned. He asks her questions about those tasks, and she reports directly to him.
All the other members present also hear the report, which is one of the major benefits of meetings.
However, the structure of Western meetings requires that reporting be done to the meeting leader.
Okay, so let's take a look at the vocabulary for this lesson. The first word we'll look at is
Organize,
arrange into a structure.
organize, organize.
Our second word is
Reserve,
retain or hold for someone.
reserve, reserve.
Our third word is
Delegate,
a person who represents others in a conference.
delegate, delegate.
Next we have
Deliver,
formally hand over something.
deliver, deliver.
And our next word is
Input,
what is put in.
input, input.
And our next word is
Energetic,
showing or involving great activity or vitality.
energetic, energetic.
Next is
Incorporate,
take in or contain as part of a whole.
incorporate, incorporate.
And our last word is
Components,
a part or element of a larger whole.
components, components.
Let's have a closer look at the usage for some of the words and phrases from this lesson,
In the dialogue, we heard the phrase, I couldn't get it out of him.
which is a figurative way of saying, he wouldn't tell me.
What's useful about this phrase is that it carries with it the idea that she did ask him about it.
This is particularly useful with bosses because it shows that you are thinking along the same lines as your boss.
Bosses like that.
Yes, they do. Could you break this down for us?
I couldn't get it out of him.
And one time fast.
I couldn't get it out of him.
Our next phrase is, how are we doing, Sarah? This is an example of requesting a report about something.
Since they are in a group setting and the chairman is leading the meeting, he needs to specify who he asked the question to.
By phrasing the question separately, the chairman made it clear that he expects everyone to report during the meeting. But by specifying Sarah directly after the question, he maintains control over who speaks first.
Another example could be, Sarah, how is the hotel project coming along?
Could you break this down for us?
How are we doing? Sarah?
And one time fast.
How are we doing? Sarah?
Let's take a look at the grammar point. So Barbara, what's the focus of this lesson?
The focus of this lesson is adjectives that end in IC or ICAL.
In the dialogue, we heard the phrase,
We've got the chronological structure planned out, but we need to determine the speakers.
many adjectives end in either IC or ICAL. For example, here are some adjectives that end in IC. Athletic, energetic, prophetic, and scientific.
Some example sentences would be, the boys are very athletic and play a variety of sports. Or, I didn't realize you were so energetic.
Some others would be, his writings are very prophetic, and some think show the way to the future. Or, many feel that the only valid way to learn is the scientific approach.
Now let's look at some examples of adjectives ending in ICAL: magical, diabolical, cynical, and musical.
Let's use these adjectives in sentences. First, magical. We had a magical evening at the concert. Second, his political use of the military was diabolical.
Next, I wish she weren't so cynical. I don't know whether I can believe anything she says.
And last, Timothy is quite musical and plays the piano well.
An extension of the adjective ending ICAL is the adjective ending in logical.
More often than not, these adjectives tend to be used with scientific and medical-related terms.
For example, psychological, cardiological, chronological, and ideological.
Could you use these in some simple sentences?
Sure. The psychological study of patients has led to many helpful discoveries.
And I'll do one with cardiological. How about, the cardiological unit of the hospital has saved many lives?
Good. Next is chronological. A sentence could be, the chronological listing of each king's reign can be found on page 244.
And last we have, many feel that an ideological approach to our political problems will not solve anything.
There are a few cases in which both adjective endings can be used with the same root. However, there is a slight change in meaning.
That's right. For example, economic versus economical. Economic means relating to economics and finance.
And economical means something like money saving or frugal.
An example sentence would be, the economic picture looks pretty depressing for the next few quarters.
And for economical, a sample sentence would be, it's economical to reuse your banana peels as compost.
Now let's look at historic versus historical. Historic means famous and important, but historical means dealing with history.
For example, the historic Battle of the Bulge was fought in Belgium.
And for historical, the historical significance of Da Vinci's writings was discussed in Peter Gould's essay.
Lastly, we'll take a look at lyric versus lyrical, which was used in the dialogue.
Lyric means relating to poetry, whereas lyrical means resembling poetry, musicality, or something like that.
Pretty similar if you ask me. How about some example sentences to clear this up?
Sure, how about lyric poetry reading can help you find the music of everyday language? That just about does it for today. Thanks for listening.
See you later.
We need to finish organizing the March seminar. How are we doing? Sarah?
To begin with, this past week, Jonathan and I were able to confirm with Daniel Giesbrecht, and he said he'd love to participate in the seminar.
Excellent. What else?
We've reserved fantastic hotel rooms for the delegates and reserved the restaurants for the 3 days of the seminar.
And the other delegates?
Going along smoothly. Mr. Jeffery Nye seems particularly energetic and seemed interested in incorporating some kind of musical component into his presentation.
Something lyrical, I hope?
I don't know, sir. I couldn't get it out of him.
No worries. He's known for mixing economic and musical examples in very creative ways. How's the schedule shaping up?
We've got the chronological structure planned out, but we need to determine the speakers, specifically who will deliver the keynote.
Could you get that taken care of soon, please?
That's part of the problem, sir. We have the outline, but I need more input from you and the committee in order to really nail this down. Could we set up an extra meeting on Thursday at 10?